Hi guys, Aaron Wilson back at NRG Stadium. The Texans had their standard Wednesday practice, a little bit of a shorter workout than normal. I think some of that because they're trying to get their legs back after that Monday night game and keep the energy high heading into this pivotal Sunday road game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Texans, of course, are winless at 0-2, the lowest scoring team through 2 games in the NFL. And they have failed to score a red zone touchdown. They're the only team in the NFL that has not done that. But I want to start with personnel and health updates and give you the latest news on all of those things. And then we'll get into some strategy and some comments and things that were talked about today here at NRG. So thinking about the Texans and the center position. So they've had Jared Patterson for this past game, starting at center with Jake Andrews sidelined with a high ankle sprain. Wasn't the most severe type of ankle sprain, so he was able to get back on the field today, and that's an encouraging development. And the plan is, if he has no setbacks, to get him on the field, and that would bring them back to the original starting alignment that the Texans wanted to have for their offensive line, meaning Arion Tertiary is the left tackle, Laken Tomlinson, the left guard, Jake Andrews, who prepared to be the starter, and started against the Rams before being carted off the field as a precautionary measure. Back as the center, right guard, of course, Ed Ingram, and right tackle, Titus Howard. And they believe that's their best 5 that they can put out there. So if no setbacks, I expect Jake to get out there. I talked with him a little bit. He felt very good at practice. He's really excited to be back. Bigger news, Christian Kirk, their slot receiver, and has been missing. This will be his debut. He's back from a hamstring injury, as D'Amico Ryan said he would be, and now he's back on the field, and that gives them a lot more elements to this offense, a lot of flexibility, and a proven pass catcher. So you get him back to pair with Nico Collins, maybe take some pressure off of this offense, some easier completions, moving the chains, great at short and intermediate stuff. The reason why they call him the slot magician. So you get him back on the field, changes the calculus a little bit, and how defenses, how aggressively can they be defending you. Braxton Berrios, their return man, is back, and that gives them even more flexibility because they have Jalen Noel and Braxton Berrios. And Jalen Noel's been doing a great job. 53-yard punt return against the Buccaneers. Showed true explosiveness, and there was some excellent blocking on that play as well. So the Texans, from a health standpoint, a new injury, Jalen Smith, their rookie corner, hamstring injury. And, he is sidelined currently. And so that's a factor. If they don't have Smith, they are dangerously thin at corner. They did sign Ajani Carter from the University of Houston and Kansas City Chiefs corner, but just to the practice squad. Damon Arnett might be needed. You could have to elevate Damon, who had his moments in the preseason with 1 interception. But so there is a possibility, if Jalen's not available, that they could have to make some changes. They have some flexibility with having the ability to have Kamari Lassiter play outside or nickel. I think it's going to be tough to just say, okay, well, we're going to have another outside corner up from the practice squad. And that's something they might have to deal with. We'll see if he can get back out there for the Thursday and Friday session. Still time, just don't know the severity yet. One injury that was a bit severe was Justin Watson, calf and Achilles. Did not tear his Achilles, doesn't need surgery, but short-term injury reserve, absolutely. Might need 6 weeks, might need longer. He got injured recovering that punt that was blocked by Jakob Johnson. So tough break for Justin Watson. Had 3 catches for 30 yards on 4 targets in 2 games. Was basically the primary slot with Christian Kirk sidelined. So now he's unavailable. They needed help at tight end. They get Brendan Bates signed off the Browns practice squad. Brendan's someone that the Texans have had their eye on for a little bit. Liked him in the undrafted process coming out of Kentucky. Combo tight end, even though he's mostly known for blocking, he does have some ability to stretch the field. They saw that, how he performed in the Hall of Fame game last year in Canton, had a big catch when he was playing for the Chicago Bears. So he went undrafted, was with the Jets, then with the Browns, and now he's a Texan, and I had a chance to chat with him just very briefly today. He's excited to be here. So some storylines, obviously the big thing is the offense. And it was interesting to hear C.J. Stroud talk about his meetings with DeMeco Ryans and saying if he has any input for him, to please let him know. They meet every week, so this isn't something new as far as, C.J. Stroud, his process of getting ready for these games. But yeah, he meets with him, he meets with Gerard Johnson, he meets with Nick Caley. Said the motion doesn't really mean a lot to him, whether they go in motion a lot. That's not really that key for him. He's told me, I asked him at the start of the press conference, he thinks they're very close. Keep in mind, they did lose these games by a combined 6 points. Wasn't a ton of questions about his accuracy. Obviously, some tough moments there, throwing in the red zone. Those throws to Nico Collins were, definitely off the mark. So, yeah, CJ's working on that. I think there's something of a pressure element in terms of the pressure that you feel and the pressure also that you're ready for, that you expect, that you're accustomed to, even though I thought the offensive line made some strides, not all the strides they need to make. One of the bigger storylines this week will be the return, of course, of Aziz Al-Shaair to Jacksonville for the first time since this big controversy last year where Trevor Lawrence slid late and Aziz hit him and it caused a concussion, and he was then suspended for 4 games. The suspension was upheld. There was a lot of critical commentary from John Runyon, that the disciplinary officer from the NFL, that offended not just Aziz, but also Nick Caserio. You remember how upset he was at the way that Aziz was characterized, so that was interesting. Then, there was, of course, the pair of fights. They were irate, the Jaguars players, at Aziz. They went out.
How are you feeling physically, and you feel like you're ready to contribute?
Yeah, I feel great. Obviously the injury was unfortunate, but it's a part of football, so it's all about how you respond and just work your way back and put in a lot of time to get myself ready to play. So just looking forward to getting back out there this week, getting integrated back into practice, and hopefully get ready for Sunday.
Is there any extra motivation going back where you were last year?
I mean, I think at the time you get traded away from somewhere, you feel like you need to prove something, but for me, it's just honestly getting back out on the field. It's been so long, since I've actually played in a game, so I'm just looking forward to just getting back out there, playing with this team, and hopefully getting us back on track.
Christian, what do you hope to bring to the offense? Obviously, third down has been an issue. Do you feel like you can help there, and kind of what do you hope to bring to the offense this week?
For sure. You mentioned third down. That's a down that's important, and you see different versions of coverages, man and whatever the case may be. And so I just feel like I can bring a sense of just reliability to be able to win, in tight situations, third down, critical downs in the red zone and whatnot. So I'm just going to go out there and do what I'm best at and do what's required of me and what the offense is asking of me. But like I said, I'm just excited to get out there and contribute.
Christian, when it comes to getting your time,
how eager are you to play with CJ? I know you've probably watched him play for a couple of years. Is it exciting to finally get to play with him?
Very exciting. I thought we did a great job, building a great rapport throughout training camp. Made a bunch of plays, a bunch of explosives. We think the same. See offensively and defensive schematic wise the same way. So just definitely looking forward to get out there and really get that rolling and just keep building it throughout the season.
Christian, when the timing is disrupted by missing some time, how quickly does it come back? Because you and CJ have obviously played a lot of catch together.
It's like riding a bike. I've been in the league for a long time, been doing it at a high level for a long time. CJ's one that, especially when the lights are bright and you get in between the lines, it's second nature to him. So this week will be big for us during practice, just, things that are specific to Jacksonville, what they present, but I don't see us having any problems.
And big picture, 0-2, trying to get that first win, how much can that not be understated, how the importance of this game in the division and just getting the first win of the year, hopefully?
Yeah, I say it all the time. I mean, the division games are the biggest no matter who you're playing, and so, it starts this week going down to Jacksonville, and so it's just a little extra motivation for the team. Obviously, we want to get that first win under our belt. Had 2 close games against 2 really good football teams, and I think once we just clean up a few things and go out and execute, would up on the right side of things. So I know everybody's eager to get back out there on Sunday.
I know you seem to always ask us when someone's out. Do you see something from the sideline that could help them?
Jaguars players at Aziz, they went after him, and he responded in kind. So you had all those issues in the Jaguars game, so it'll be interesting to see. He said he's going to do most of his talking with this and this, meaning his two shoulders, his shoulder pads. Meaning he's going to bring it, and he's not going to, he says, allow himself to be distracted by any of the outward focus and all the crazy things that have been said to him. And he said it's not really for him to be understood, it's for him to just be himself. And I think it's a good approach. He seemed to have a very positive attitude toward what is undoubtedly going to be a lot of booing and name calling when he heads back to Jacksonville. Like he posted before, remember he posted he was the Joker. So yeah, he's going to have certainly that kind of reception from the Jacksonville fans. And that's what you would expect. That's what would happen if there was a Texans player involved on the other side of the coin. Overall, looking at the Texans and personnel, yes, they're getting healthier, except on defense with Jalen Smith. But overall, you think about the Texans and kind of where they stand, obviously, desperate team, desperate to get a win, need to stick with their fundamentals, need to really stay steeped in the reality of what do you have to do to get better. Right now, it's looking like a very, very basic offense. I thought it would be a little more complex with Nick Caley. Maybe some of this are the growing pains of being a rookie offensive coordinator. This is the first time that he's been a play caller, so he's obviously learning on the job. And, D'Amico and CJ both said, these are different issues with this offense. And he thinks communication is improving. They're getting to a point where things are getting better. I look at the Texans definitely as a work in progress as an offensive line, as a running game, as play calling goes. So a lot of things need to improve. Listening to CJ Stroud today, I get a certain vibe that, he's, obviously listening to some of the criticism, but he took a high road and said, everybody's got a job to do. You guys can say whatever you want. We might see it differently. It's kind of a nice way of saying, I'm not buying into all the criticism or letting this, cause any type of detrimental effect to his confidence, and nor should it. Criticism comes with the job, with being at the top spot, being QB1. What it shouldn't do is allow you to derail you or to become obsessed with what people are saying. Any walk of life. If I worry too much about what people are saying about me, guess what? I won't accomplish anything because it's preoccupying, it's distracting. So I have to focus on what I'm supposed to be doing my job, and different type of job for CJ Stroud, but I see some commonality there. I can't get distracted by something someone else thinks or whatever someone else might be doing, and the same thing goes for NFL quarterback like CJ Stroud. Overall, I think there's opportunities for them. You look at some of the matchups. The Jaguars, they have Trevor Lawrence. They have, of course, Travis Hunter. They have one of the better young receivers in the game in Brian Thomas. And with ATN, they have a true threat in terms of pass catching and also on just speed runs, a good athlete. When you think about some of the things the Texans will try to do, I believe they will, try to attack the pocket. I don't think they're too scared of Trevor scrambling, so they feel like they can get some sacks, they can make some things happen. And I expect that from the Texans to bring a pressure package. Overall, when you look at the Jaguars offense, it shouldn't really scare you. I mean, it's solid. They've done a pretty good job pass protection, but it's not like these guys are world beaters. So overall, you have that. And then you look at everything what they have with defense. Trevon Walker, former number 1 overall pick, good edge rusher, not a great edge rusher, a good one. They have, of course, Josh Hines-Allen, another outstanding rusher, even better in my opinion. And they have Tyson Campbell. They have some good football players. Overall, yes, the Jaguars have built a good roster, but are they that good? I think they're still a work in progress. With Travis Hunter, of course, we'll see him on both sides of the ball. He does play some corner. He's got a good ability to run after the return. If he does pick one off, he's a very, very good athlete. So that's someone to keep an eye on. Texans, of course, have their own corners, standout corners like Derek Stingley Jr. You do have an injury with Kamari Lassiter, but maybe he won't be 100%, but should be able to work, should be able to operate, should be able to do his thing. And then, the Texans, they've got to start getting more out of the offensive tight ends. They got to, get a little bit better production out of them. They got to run the ball better. I feel like that touchdown, they won't say it, but I feel like the Buccaneers gave the Texans that touchdown. It was a good strategy. So overall, the Texans, they have, their work cut out for them. They have some things to do. They have, some things to clean up. Tackling. We talked about tackling. That's my first question out of the box with D'Amico Ryans. He says, there's too many shoulder hits. They're not wrapping up, and the missed tackles are predictable. Why this is happening? It's fixable, but it's also predictable. And they've got to tackle better. I think they got to get even more out of the blitz with Jalen Petrie or C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They've got to get the continued pass rush that they have had so far with Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. Those guys are really a strength of this team and do a great job of rushing the passer, getting into the backfield. When I look at the Texans, I feel like they're going to play better football later on down the road, but they got to get healthy first. And they're going to get away from, the whole, narrative of, we're going to point fingers. I mean, that's not going to be what happens with this team. Overall, I think the Texans will have opportunities to win some football games. It's just a matter of, is this the first one? It could be. They're starting to kind of go through what it's going to take to win a football game. And the Texans, to me, they're not that far off, but at the same time, you can talk yourself into anything. You got to be really brutally honest in what they've done so far. Not acceptable, below the standard, and they're 2 games behind the Colts in the AFC South standings. They need a win in the worst possible way. They need to get this thing done. They're going to have to pressure Trevor Lawrence. They're going to have to bottle up Etienne. They're going to have to contain Brian Thomas. I think they can do that with Derek Stingley Jr. And then on defense, offense, they got to get some scoring drives going. They got to really mount some things. They got to get, out of this pressure packages. And until, as D'Amico Ryan said, and he's right, until someone, they stop it, then people are going to keep trying to do it, keep trying to exploit what they perceive as holes in this defense. So guys, that's about it for me. We'll talk again on Thursday. I'm at Aaron Wilson _NFL on Twitter and X. I'm at Aaron Wilson Sport on YouTube. And of course, I'm on Twitter/X at Aaron Wilson _NFL, Instagram Aaron Wilson 7128. So guys, until next time, look forward to our next conversation. And I would be remiss not to mention, thank you so much. We're at 17,000, so please watch, like, and subscribe. And let's get to 18,000. So we're at 17. I'm looking forward to the next 1,000. That's what I'm all about. Like, what's next? How do you get there? And how do you build the channel? So guys, thanks so much for supporting the channel. Look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks, bye. Aziz, you guys have a big game Sunday at Jacksonville. Where do you feel like you are as a team at 0-2? You're only 6 points removed from, able to win some of these games, but you had some close losses.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because my coach, Billy Davis, he says the same thing all the time. It's like, whether we end up making the play to win the game or not, when you go in there and watch the film, you're not watching it saying, okay, well, I know I won the game, so this rep doesn't matter. It's a play-by-play, rep-by-rep league, and you just got to focus on one play at a time, obviously moving forward, correcting the mistakes and things like that, because like I say now for the last 2 weeks, it's not the same thing that beat us the first week isn't what, necessarily lost us the game this week. So it's just like you got to continuously be able to adapt and be ready for anything.
We're a defense that has such great pride and it's so physical. So how does tackling become an issue really on this offense?
I think just kind of like that same mentality. I think sometimes you be aggressive and you're taking your shots, but there's different things and different situations where you can get those, kind of big hits versus just, making the routine tackle. So I just think, when you have that mentality like how we do, where we're swarming to the ball, everybody's flying around, that's a great mentality. You don't want to change that, but at the same time, you still got to be able to run and play your technique. Because running to the ball and you being physical, but you want to make sure that you're running your feet, keeping your head up, putting your body on the guy. So I think kind of the finer details within, that physicality is what it's about.
Henry was mentioning that the communication as well needs to be just a little bit better defensively in the right spots. How has that improved in these, first couple of days you guys are getting back after?
Man, it's been a day, not even a couple, it's literally a day. First day on the field since the game. And it's just by just being intentional about making sure that if you're gonna, I'm getting the call, obviously Meek gives me the call, him getting us the call quick, and then also us relaying the call to each other and lining up so that we can kind of see the picture and be able to adapt and kind of process what's going on before the ball snaps.
The success that the Bucs had running the ball, how much was that missed tackles and how much was it missed assignments or minding gaps or whatever?
Yeah, I think it was probably both. Guys either getting in the wrong spot or just missing the tackle. And so it's like I said, kind of you have to look back and be, okay, we play physical, but we still got to work our technique. And so there was, I think, more technique things in that than anything. But it was honestly some of both.
The way the game last time in Jacksonville went, do you expect anything extra from either the Jaguars or even Jaguars fans?
I expect, I've gotten all type of crazy stuff since that day. Still get it to this day from people just in general. I don't know if they're fans of football or they just hate me. Either way, that's between them and God. But I have no clue. I know I'm gonna go out there and do what I've done my entire career, play as hard as I can. Anybody who got the ball in their hand, that's what I'm trying to hit, and just do my job.
Is there anything that's going to be in the back of your mind since this is the first time you faced them since that happened? Is it anything you think of at all?
Just try to hit him as hard as I can, do my job like I always do. It's really nothing different. Just I think it's definitely a personal thing. It's every single thing because you don't know. On the schedule it says you got another game, but this league is it's physical and violent. At the end of the day, you don't never know when it's gonna be your last play. So the mentality is you gotta do it right now. You can't wait. I was on great teams in the past that never got anything to show for it. I never won a Super Bowl, and I've been on Super Bowl teams. And you just got to do it right now. So I think the urgency is high, and it's the same this week as it's been every other week. Is that we're desperate every single week to get a win because that's the only week you got. You got to focus on the one day.
Aziz, you've been through a lot to play this game, all of the things that you've talked about before. You said last year you felt misunderstood. What would you like people to understand, though, about you?
The only thing I'm going to let talk is he showed the pass right here. I don't got to say much. It's not really up for me to really try to make somebody understand who I am. If you know me and you're blessed to be around me, then you know who I am. And if you're not, then, I just pray for you.
Jake Andrews, back at it. How good did it feel to get it back on the field today?
Well, it was pretty good. It was low intensity, but, it was nice to be back out there. It wasn't too far removed from it. So, we're just working on it.
When you turned your ankle, did you think, oh, man, I think this is, maybe it's bad? You couple often they, I think, precaution cart you off, but did you kind of say, hey, you know what, maybe it's not that bad? Huh?
I don't know. I knew it wasn't anything fantastic. At first I thought, okay, let me just stand up, it'll be fine, and then I stood up and it wasn't great. So, it's doing a lot better now, and so we're just gonna go from where we are right now and take it day by day and try and keep working at it.
Yeah, D'Amico and CJ were saying it was a boost to get back guys like you, Christian Kirk, Braxton Berrios, and this team with a tough start, only losing by some small margins. I think 6 combined points, small margin of error in the NFL, but the energy was good today.
Yeah, it felt good. Hot out there, it's 48 hours removed from a tough loss. And, I think we had a good day despite all of that. And we need to have a good day tomorrow, good day Friday, hop on the plane Saturday, and try to see what we can do on Sunday to turn this thing around.
Yeah, with you back, this is the original depth chart that they had envisioned. You guys, I look at a offensive line kind of like a good basketball team. There's 5 guys. They're in a rhythm, and you guys all move as one and work together. But when you have changes, sometimes it's not easy. But when you get back to what you hope to do, sometimes good things can happen.
Yeah, and just like basketball, you got to have that 6th guy, sometimes that 7th guy. It's the NFL. Stuff's going to happen. You're not going to have all 5 all year long. If you do, that's awesome. But like I said, it's the NFL. It's just not likely. And so we got a good